That's the way to work. Come on.
He's hit that sack. The Steelers win the football game.
Let's go! Come get it. You know what it is.
This one is in the history books.
Here we go.
Welcome to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show.
Hi, everybody, and Happy New Year. Welcome to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show. I'm Missi Matthews. When the Ravens beat the Packers last Saturday night, that meant the Steelers had to take matters into their own hands if they wanted to win the AFC North title. But unfortunately, instead of passing out hats and t-shirts, they left Ohio without a touchdown and also their fourth straight loss to the Browns in Cleveland. For much more on what went wrong and the implications now for Sunday night, let's welcome in Bob Pompeani, who's standing by with Coach Tomlin. Guys.
Hey, Missy, thanks very much. Getting set for a winner-take-all game Sunday at Acrisure Stadium. It got this way, Coach, because of some missed opportunities. And I guess that would be the theme of what happened in Cleveland, both offensively and defensively. What was your takeaway after going back and looking at that game?
Certainly. You don't want to take anything away from Cleveland. As I mentioned, leading up to the game, they had the number one unit in the AFC North, their defensive unit, and certainly they played to that. But I felt it after the game and certainly felt it as I looked at the tape that we certainly had our opportunities, and particularly on possession downs. And the game often comes down to possession down playmaking. It extends drives, it gives you further downs, it gives you an opportunity to go for 7 as opposed to settling for 3, et cetera. And we just did not make enough plays in that area of the game, and certainly that they did. On the defensive side of the ball, I just thought we gave some things up early, adjusting to some adjustments that they had in their plan. And once we got settled down, we were able to get the necessary stops. And certainly don't want to underscore that. I think that that's a component of championship football, getting defensive stops late in the game to give yourself a chance to win. And we certainly did that. I think their last 3 possessions were 3 and out, and we had our opportunities. I like the way we drove the ball in 2-minute sequences on offense and covered all the necessary grass. We finished with a field goal at halftime, and then certainly we had our opportunities down inside the 10-yard line at the end of the game. And so certainly there's some good things to build upon, but certainly we can identify some things that we didn't do well and the reason why we're in the position that we're in.
To extend that, you often talk about complementary football, and I guess the biggest example of why that didn't work in your favor is because you had a couple of interceptions which put you in really good field position, and yet you got no points out of it.
No question. That interception by Jack Sawyer, I think we got the ball somewhere around the high 30s. We were in the high fringe or high red zone. We went for it on 4th down, and we were unsuccessful. We didn't get any points out of that, and that's just catastrophic from a continuity and support one another standpoint.
In that sequence, did you at all think about a field goal, or what goes into the minutia of a 4th and 1 call?
It's December. It's divisional play. You're in a hostile environment. You need 7 in an effort to win. You know that, and so certainly wanted to be aggressive in that sequence, given how we acquired the football.
Another play, speaking about defense, is that first touchdown pass, 29 yards to Fannin Jr. It seemed like that ball was up in the air a long time. Kyle Duggar came over. Was that just a situation where maybe he lost track of it, or why did he not make a better play on that one?
We're not going to make any excuses, but certainly he had an opportunity to make a play on the ball. That's one of the fundamental safety skill drills that you see at the combine. But they made the play and we didn't.
All right, let's talk about 3 for 15 on 3rd down. You mentioned that. Most of that was, it seemed, coming in pass situations. Going into this game, you had talked about the number 1 pass defense they have, yet you threw the ball 39 times versus 24 runs. Was that just part of how this game unfolded, or was that a design that you had?
It was really part design and part certainly how the game unfolded. The nature of the 3rd down oftentimes determines the schematics that you deploy. As you mentioned, a lot of those were the longer variety. I think we went for a run on 3rd down on the first 3rd down of the game, and we were unsuccessful, and sometimes that affects you from a planning standpoint as you move forward. The bottom line is we didn't make enough plays, be it run or pass, in possession down play. Sometimes it was just us, lack of execution. Sometimes certainly they made some significant plays.
One other thing, and I thought this was interesting, was a 4th and 10 before the 2-minute warning. You elected to go for it. Metrics will tell you that's a good play at times, but you didn't get it. It led to 3. But you still had a chance, and you moved the ball into position. So did that work out exactly as you planned?
Preferably I would like them to have missed the field goal or us to have blocked it. They ended up 4th and 5 as opposed to 4th and 6 or more, and oftentimes that affects how you go after a potential block. We certainly couldn't get an offsides, and we wanted to be aggressive there. We certainly didn't want to waste that 4th down by punting the ball to them. It gave us another possession down, an opportunity to be aggressive. We were unsuccessful. We got the necessary stop. We ended up with the ball and 140 something left, and certainly we had ample amount of time to drive down the field as we did, but we weren't able to finish it.
All right, Coach. Cleveland wins that game, sets up a winner-take-all scenario coming up in Week 18. We'll talk about the Baltimore Ravens, who won last week and forced this situation coming up when we continue with Mike Tomlin. Missi, back over to you.
Well, Bob, it should come as no surprise the NFL put this game between the Steelers and Ravens on Sunday Night Football. It will actually mark the 12th meeting between these two teams on Sunday night. And we all know Steelers Nation will be coming to Acrisure Stadium with their energy and, of course, a terrible towel, which is appropriate as we celebrate the 50th anniversary of a small idea that turned into something magical. Here's part of our latest Steelers story on the terrible towel.
The next week, we were hosting the AFC Championship game against the Oilers. When we got to the stadium, we saw that the team had put an official terrible towel in every locker. I grabbed mine and took it with me as we were waiting to be introduced. I could feel the crowd's excitement. I had this towel, and I was kind of flicking it on my leg. I saw fans standing up, and so I started waving the terrible towel, twirling it over my head, and all of a sudden, everyone in the stadium was doing it. And I just continued waving my towel as I was introduced.
He jumped about 10 feet in the air waving this towel, and the whole stadium went crazy, of course.
I can remember, I can see it being pictured now as he's running out the field waving that towel. And the fan base went nuts.
We got the best offense, the best defense, the best QB, the best running back, the best everything, best coaching staff, best front office, and we got the terrible time. What more do we need?
The Mike Tomlin Show will be right back.
Welcome back to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show.
The AFC North is known as the Black and Blue Division, and the Steelers and Ravens have been the heavy hitters since division realignment in 2002. During that span, both Pittsburgh and Baltimore have combined to win 17 out of 23 AFC North titles. So who will it be this year? Let's head back to Bob and Coach for much more on Sunday night.
Hey, Missi, thanks very much. Man, it comes down to one game, and you have it right here at Acrisure Stadium on Sunday night. Winner take all, AFC North on the line. Never before in the history, Coach, of this rivalry has it come down to a winner take all in the final week of the season. But you've been down this road before. You know how these games tend to go.
Yeah, I do. And I enjoy it as a competitor. I love competing. I certainly love and respect this relationship that we have with the Ravens. It's a unique opportunity. It's the AFC North Championship. And certainly we're going to lean in on it and play our best.
You guys won in Baltimore earlier this year. Very good game for Aaron Rodgers, maybe his best. I just want to ask you about, trying to go against their defense, which comes with a very good secondary. They're not so much getting to the quarterback as you saw last week. How much of an opportunity is that for you to take advantage of whatever you want to take advantage of in offense?
They make good decisions in terms of how to divide the labor up on defense, how to put their good players in position to make plays, and when to be aggressive and not. Certainly we got to deal with Roquan. He's an all situations linebacker. Kyle Hamilton plays safety. He plays big nickel. He plays dime linebacker in passing circumstances. It allows him to be really aggressive in terms of his blitz game, and oftentimes he covers up your significant tight ends in passing circumstances. And then lastly, there's Marlon Humphreys, who plays outside, but also plays inside in passing situations as well. It's about how they deploy those three guys and the things that they do to schematically highlight what they're capable of. Everyone else plays a role, but certainly those are the critical pieces. It's going to be an exciting game for sure.
Talk about their quarterback situation. Lamar Jackson is a unique talent. How much pressure do you need to get on him? Also being mindful of their backs coming out of the backfield.
certainly there's some things that you schematically do that is Lamar and Lamar only. There's no one else on the planet. But largely, they remain the same. He's comfortable with playing us. We've seen a lot of them over the years. But it's about them as a collective, particularly when the rubber meets the road in big moments like this. They're going to play behind their big running back and their lead back in 42 and their base tight end, 88. Those are the guys that really kind of control the climate in thick circumstances. You've seen it a lot from them over the recent weeks as they've worked to get back into this position, and I don't expect it to change, to be quite honest with you. If we want to have a successful day, we better neutralize the big runner and those people that play with him, that lead back 42 and that base tight end 88.
Yeah, he's been amazing coming off 200-yard performance again, 4 touchdowns against Green Bay. It seemed like they were running him and Ricard with the lead back, but it was all over the place. It wasn't the same sort of run. So do you expect the same kind of division of how they handle the football on offense?
There's no question. They have a certain mode of operation when things get thick, and really it kind of precedes even some of their current assistants. Some of the things I've seen on recent tape reminds me of the Greg Roman years and things of that nature. But most of us do. As leaders and as of stable outfits, when things get thick, we have certain go-tos, certain places we hang our hat, certain things that are non-negotiable, and their commitment to the run and doing so through their big runner is certainly one of those things for them as a collective.
But they have guys, if you focus too much on that, they have guys down the field who can do it to you too. And Zay Flowers would be the number one guy I would point to as their leading guy.
I just don't know that I would characterize as focusing too much on it. We better do a good job of minimizing their run. Certainly, they have some capable playmakers to go along with that, but oftentimes their opportunities are born out of what's created. Their misdirection pass, for example, produces some chunks. That goes because the running game goes. And so oftentimes the big chunks that they make down the field are of the play action variety, and certainly they have a more significant impact when they're running the ball effectively.
You play this team twice a year. You know them well. They know you well. Can you do anything different to change things up, whether it's schematics, a tendency change that could help you along the way?
We do it. They do it. It's always a component of these matchups, and it may alter it and impact it some, particularly at the initial stages. But usually it comes down to the will of the men and how you play as a collective and your situational playmaking in all three phases. And so we'll have a trick or two up our sleeve. I'm sure they will. I'm sure both agendas will be somewhat non-significant when the rubber meets the road, and it'll be about players making significant plays in the weighty moments.
What does it mean for you? You've been through this a lot, but really never in this situation, winner take all at the end of the year. You had it once with Cincinnati, but never with this team.
I just think that, if you're in this stadium at this time of year, you're in the right place. You have an opportunity to win division championship. The fact that it's in our home venue is really sweet. But more than anything, man, I just love the competition. Certainly I love the history that we share with this group. And I'm certain that this chapter is going to be an explosive one.
It will be. It'll be the final game of the regular season, 8:20 on Sunday night. When we come back, Coach Tomlin talks about the keys to the game. Missy, back over to you.
Yeah, no doubt, Bob. And for the Steelers, they are looking to win their first AFC North title since 2020. The Ravens, on the other hand, are looking to get their third straight AFC North championship. Congratulations to Derek Harmon for being named the team's top rookie. Harmon is the first defensive lineman to win the Joe Green Great Performance Award, named after the Hall of Famer. And the Pittsburgh media voted Patrick Queen as the chief award winner for his cooperation through the ups and downs of an NFL season. And up next on our show, Merrill Hodge breaks down some X's and O's of Baltimore's offense and what to expect on Sunday. The Mike Tomlin Show will be right back after this break.
Welcome back to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show.
You can show off your black and gold knowledge with Immaculate Prediction, the Steelers predictive game that gives you a chance to win some great prizes. Here's one of the final questions for the regular season. Will Alex Highsmith have at least one sack on Sunday night? Yes or no? Just head over to the Steelers mobile app now to compete for this week's first place prize, a football autographed by Highsmith. Good luck. Well, the Steelers have been a thorn in the side of Lamar Jackson since he entered the league. Jackson is 3-5, including the postseason against Pittsburgh. This week, Merrill Hodge has a brand new playbook to show us what Jackson could potentially bring on Sunday Night Football.
Hi everyone, welcome into the UPMC Rooney Sports Complex for the Playbook, presented by Microsoft Copilot. All right, round 2, Ravens, this time at home. Now you look at the last matchup, they won. What was one of the things they did defensively, I thought, that was so impressive, and you almost need to do each and every time that you play the Ravens, you got to handle Lamar Jackson. You cannot let him escape the pocket and wound you by making big runs. And they did about as good a job as anybody has done in this game by doing that. And it's not easy. So let me show you the very first play. Some of the rules in doing this is you cannot get beyond the quarterback. And that is very hard to tell your outside rushers because they're trying to get sacks. But if you see the snap, as we snap the ball here, how good they do that. They do that because it's about winning as a team. And that's what you got to do to beat this guy. Everybody reroutes. Nobody is behind Lamar Jackson. Watt, was he going to go upfield? Could he have gone upfield? Yes. But then he gives him an escape route right here, and it's over. But now he doesn't do that. He creates a wall. He falls back in unison with everybody that's coming, and they push this wall into his face. And as you let it go, you'll see that that's not what he likes to do. You know, it's not the most accurate throw. Even if it was completed, you're going to make the tackle. So it's not what his strength is. They even pressured him, and when you pressure him, boy, you can get out of alignment quickly. But watch how beautifully this is. I mean, Herbig 51 all the way to Watt. Watch how they take this line, they slide it as a wall, and then Queen comes screaming around. I mean, this is perfectly designed and executed. You stop it right there. Where's he going? And you got a free defender, which is another hard thing to do in the NFL, getting a free defender. Well, he's got no escape route, so he can't really damage you. And they end up finishing. As you let it go, you know, it gets the ball away. It doesn't end up being a sack, but he didn't hurt you. He didn't hurt you with these legs. And another example, because they did this the entire game, and I think that's what's so impressive. You can do it a couple times, and some teams do, but nobody does it the entire game. Same concept as we snap the ball, you'll see that everybody has the integrity to stay within the scheme of what's going on. Top, Watt. Okay, could he kept coming up? Probably. And then look at that escape lane that he would have given. But he falls back in. He doesn't want to get beyond Lamar, and he falls back in, and there's nowhere here for him to run. So they move him around in the pocket. That's fine. And they end up finishing him in the pocket. And it's all because of how they played together, how disciplined they were on front. They worked together as creating a wall, not giving him any escape routes. That'll be pivotal in this matchup. When you do that, and if you can neutralize their run, and even for 3 quarters, it gives you a big-time chance to beat them twice in the same season.
And to catch more exclusive Steelers content, just head over to the team's official YouTube page. Well, Pittsburgh and Baltimore close out the regular season in game number 272. One team will keep playing next week while the other team goes home. So to say that everybody is treating this as a playoff game would be an understatement. Let's head back to Bob and Coach one final time for the keys to the game presented by your neighborhood Ford store. Guys.
All right, Coach, let's talk about the biggest elements of this game. It starts with the biggest guy on their offense, which is Derrick Henry. You guys have had success slowing him down at times. He wins some of those battles as well. What is the biggest key when it comes to Derrick Henry?
You know, I think you minimize his downhill running lanes. When he has a downhill running lane to the second level and then to the third, his unique talents really take center stage. His ability to run away from people, his stiff arm that wards off much smaller would-be tacklers, his leg strength as he runs through arm tackles and so forth. And so we better do a good job of winning the line of scrimmage, not giving him downhill angles and holes to the second and third level. I think that's a major component of working to minimize the big runner.
You're going to be missing some people on offense. Aaron Rodgers had, I thought, his best day in Baltimore. What do you do to compensate for the losses there?
You know, certainly you adapt. When you got red paint, you paint your barn red, as we say. But at the same time, we're going to need some guys to step up. We're going to need some plays from people. That's just the nature of team sport, and particularly this time of year as you work through attrition and the things that are associated with not having people available to you. They're without a player or two as well. It's a fair fight from that perspective, and that's what's exciting. I just think that, the better teams win, and oftentimes the better teams are not only determined by the first wave of terror, if you will, but it's by those that play in support roles and those that are capable of rising up and providing quality play in support roles. Scotty Miller is an example of a guy that's done that in recent weeks, have made good on additional opportunities due to the misfortune of others. And so I'm always excited and optimistic about that. That's something that we value. I'm looking forward to guys showing that they belong and showing that they're capable and ready. I just think it's a component of football that needs to be valued.
Another big loss to a big man is Darnell Washington. How does he affect the tight end play and also your play when it comes to your tush push, the Spartan play? Certainly,
We value our tight ends, and we certainly have enough options to pivot and absorb his loss. He's had an awesome year. He's been a major component of a lot of the things that we've done, particularly some cute situational things. But we certainly have other capable guys, not only at his position, but outside his position. Spencer Anderson's contributions have been significant in that space as well. And so particularly with 6 or 7 days to prepare, I expect his absence to be a non-issue schematically.
All the best to you on Sunday night.
Thank
Winner
you.
take all. That's head coach Mike Tomlin. That'll wrap it up for this week's show. Tune in tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. We get you started. It's going to be all-day football on KDK and around Western Pennsylvania, of course. That's going to do it for head coach Mike Tomlin and Missi Matthews. I'm Bob Pompeani. Thanks for joining us for this week's 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show. Have a great weekend.